Hi everyone, it's Kino here. Thanks for joining for this 1 hour yin practice. This is a perfect space to be into, to wind down and to enter into a really quiet space, particularly after a long day or just when you want to tune in. So let's get started. Come to a comfortable seated position. Close your eyes. Bring your hands together. A nice long deep breath in. As you exhale, rest your hands down to any comfortable position. Let's begin with a few moments of mindfulness. Bring your attention to your breath. Notice the feeling of the inflowing and the outgoing breath as it makes contact with your body. The anchor of mindfulness while resting on the breath is the most traditional place to create a calm and steady mind. So let your intention rest on the breath. Simultaneously, allow that awareness of the breath to help your mind calm down. Once the mind has reached a deeper level of inner awareness, it begins to be possible to feel the body. So now bring your attention deeper down into the body and begin to tune in to the sensations in the body. You might feel your fingers, toes, your hands, your feet. You might become aware of the flow of energy underneath your skin. Awareness of the body, or becoming embodied, is a very important step on the spiritual journey of yoga. Finally, bring your attention to the quality of your mind itself. As you tune into the frequency of thoughts, the texture of thoughts, notice what type of thoughts are present, if there are many thoughts or few thoughts. Being aware of breath as breath, body as body, mind as mind. These three anchors of awareness help your mind calm down. Now allow yourself a long and conscious deep breath in. And as you exhale, let's softly open the eyes. Good. Now we'll prepare to release the neck. So inhale a nice deep breath in, and then as you exhale, we're going to drop the head over to the left side. Take your right arm and drop the right fingers down. And then let's just roll the head a little forward and backward, a little forward and backward, so that you can really release the neck and then settle into a spot. And let's add in your left hand. Very good. You can take the left hand to the top, to the area of your head kind of right above your right ear, and then just let the weight kind of drape down. If you want to add in your right hand to the right shoulder, we'll hold for a few more breaths and just keep it real steady. Noticing any bands of tension as your mind and your body quietly come into alignment. One more breath. And then let's gently release. Very good. Now we'll move it on over to the other side. You can drop your head over to the right side, your left fingers down, and then just move around until you can find the place where the tension in the neck is stored. After you find that place, then you could allow your right hand to come up and just glide over. Oh, that's good. We'll hold that there for a few breaths. Give it a chance to release. Feel the breath moving in, the breath moving out. Don't overdo it. Just allow the tension in the neck to softly release. A quiet space of inner awareness. Feel welcome to add in your left hand if that feels right for you. You don't have to. It might already be enough. Stay for a few more breaths here. Drawing the navel in, finding the spaciousness, the quiet, the calm, the quiet, the calm. And then let's gently release and back to the center. You can give your head just a little side-to-side motion. Now we're going to come over onto the hands and knees, and you're going to grab your pillows or your bolster, depending on what items you have available. And then we'll start with a nice wide child's pose. You can open your knees a little bit out, slide your pillows or your bolsters in place. Drawing the navel in, let's just gently set the whole body down and feel the support. You may need to readjust or reposition. And then we'll place the head down. And now close your eyes. Keep the mind quiet and aware. Resting the head either on the hands, or you could rest your head on the bolster, the pillows, or even on the mat. Once you find a place that the body is able to release, then gently release. Take this time for yourself, for your body, to relax and release any tension that might be coming up to the surface. Take this time through your breath. With each breath, let any tension that's stored in the back, in the organs, in the mind, let it all gently release. And notice any places of tightness. Notice any places of tension. And see if you can gently just encourage those places to release, to relax. Feel the toes, the shins, the knees. Feel your thighs, your hips. Feel the glutes, the spine. Allow the whole body to just release into the ground. Notice the frequency and the texture of your thoughts. Notice your breath. Notice that inner sensation and inner feeling. Find that path to stillness. So if there's impatience, find the path underneath it. If there's tension, find the path underneath it. Find the path to stillness. Just a few more breaths, so really just take this time for yourself, for your body. No force. Easy does it. Just a few more breaths. Let's stay for about 3 more breaths. Two more breaths. And the last breath. Now as you inhale, let's activate gently the pelvic floor and walk your hands gently back up, lifting your torso away from the bolster. Press a little weight onto the knees, cross your feet underneath you, and come down to seated for a moment. Lift the spine and just let the body settle. Moving consciously. Now extending your legs into your Upavishta Konasana position. You can shift over, make sure you have the space. Sliding those pillows close to your chest, close to your thighs. So it's very important now, before we fold forward, that you don't try to go to your maximum straddle. Just take a comfortable position, and I'll give you an opportunity to deepen it, but it's better to start comfortable. Now, as you exhale, let's lift your chest a little bit forward, and then slowly sink down. That's good. And as you slowly sink down, let yourself find the place of comfort. And you may rest with your elbows on the bolster and your hands on the chin. Or you may find it's more comfortable to lie all the way down and just let your head drape over to the side. If there's a lot of intensity, keep a little activation of the bandhas, a little activation of the pelvic floor. Keep the mind in a meditative state. Keep the mind aware of your breath, your body, your mind. And the mind can be aware of itself. This is the quality of self-awareness. In the act of awareness, there is a path that leads to knowledge, a path that leads to deep peace. We take this time to find that path, the path within. Relax your body. No force. If it's getting too intense, you can always dial it down a little bit. If you decide that you don't want the bolsters, pillows, or blocks, you can explore shifting them out of the way. However, there's no need to if you're comfortable as you are. If it gets too intense, you can always dial it down a little bit. There's nothing to prove. We're just here to breathe, to be, to allow, and to find that path to stillness within. So allow the eyes to close, the mind to slip into that meditative flow. Be aware of each breath as it moves in. Aware of each breath as it moves out. Keep the mind quiet, meditative, and aware. Listen to the body, no fight, no force. Always make sure that your body is safe, and at the same time, don't run away from difficulty. Sometimes there's a lot of intensity. Sometimes there's not so much. Either way, remain calm and equanimous. Whenever your mind wanders away, you start daydreaming or drifting off, just gently ask your mind to come back. And when you start to feel the mind slipping into that border between wakefulness and sleep, embrace that, the in-between space, the not knowing space, the floaty space. Enjoy that feeling of really dropping down within yourself, down into those deep layers of the inner self. Just a few more breaths. Really enjoy the time, the luxury of staying here for such a long, deep hold. moving underneath the layers of thoughts, moving underneath the initial reactivity into that deep space of stillness within. Listen. Listen to the inner world. Now we'll slowly prepare to exit the posture. You may want to wiggle your feet a little bit. Activate your pelvic floor. And then inhale, we'll straighten the arms. And then slowly kind of come back up. Good. We could move the pillows over to the side for a little bit. All right. Then we're going to hold underneath the knees and drop the head down just to give the inner thighs a chance to come back online. I'll take 2 more breaths, just really finding that quiet inner space. 1 more breath. Good. Let's inhale and gently lift the head up. And now we'll exhale and come over onto your hands and knees. Depending on how you are on the mat, you might be able just to step back or to change a little position. Now, let's roll through a very slow cat and cow. Inhale a nice long and deep breath in. Exhale, round, under. Again, inhale that slow, steady breath all the way in. Exhale, round and under. Last one. Inhale, big breath in. Exhale, round. Good. Curl the toes under. Inhale on up to downward facing dog. So let's find our way to our good old friend, the downward dog. We'll stay for just some 5 breaths here. 1. Keep thinking about the navel drawing in. 2. 3. 4. A nice, long, steady breath. Good. Walk half the distance in, and now let's prepare for that hanging forward fold. So we could have that soft bend in the knees, and then inhale, the hips go back and up, and just allow yourself to kind of unwind the tension of the day as you just kind of dangle the arms. Dangle the head and notice any places of tightness or tension, and just gently release and soften, release and soften. Keep feeling that release and soften. Good. Relax through the back muscles. Relax through your leg muscles. And a little support in the pelvic floor. Very helpful. Good. Let's take a soft bend in the knees and then inhale, the hips come back and up again. Good. Just let it release and rest. Release and rest. Sometimes the body likes to kind of just rock itself from side to side, and sometimes the body likes to be very still. So you want to find your version and never expect one thing or another. And then let's do one more time. Bend the knees. And this time, if you want to add in interlocking your fingers and then just relaxing forward and down, you can give that a shot as well. Otherwise, you can leave your hands where they were. So, do not try to touch your hands to the ground. Super important. Just allow your body to release, finding that sense of openness, closing the eyes, and letting everything drop and release. Drop and release. Good. Keep breathing. Keep finding the spaciousness. Almost there. Just a few more breaths. Looking really good. Now let's bend the knees, taking the hands down. You can come slowly down, down, down. We'll just keep the knees bent in a squat position for a moment. Keeping the navel in. Now, as you exhale, roll through the toes, stepping gently back. We're now going to move into the pigeon pose, and you might use a block and a bolster again. Let's do that right leg first and just slide it on forward. Once you get the feeling of the knee, whether the knee can remain closed or open, then you'll be able to figure out whether you or where you want to use your pillows, maybe out in the front, or maybe one underneath your right hip is an option as well. Now when you roll through the movement, then you can determine whether you want the shin bone to be open or closed. Now, depending on what feels good for the body, the shin bone could be open or closed. Now, squaring the pelvis forward. Exhale, we're going to come down. And then you might find that you want to take a moment and again settle. You may also find that the posture is more intense, maybe too intense, and you want to dial it down a little. So remember, you can always take that right hip and support it by placing a block or something underneath it. So that's very important that you remember that that's an option. Okay, so let's close the eyes and allow yourself to relax, release. Let the mind move into that subtle space, that meditative space. If the posture is very intense, remember, deep breathing, little bit of pelvic floor. Make peace with where you are. Find the path underneath the tightness. Find the peace amidst the difficulty. Keep the attention in that meditative space. Check the alignment, check the body, and if you need any little wiggles to just settle a little bit more down into the posture, then let yourself settle. Remember, it's your breath, your body, your mind, this intimate moment of deep self-awareness. Long, steady breaths. Make peace with where you are. Just a few more breaths. If it's very difficult, you're welcome to lessen the posture a little. You can come out, rest up on the elbows, just for a few more breaths. Talk to your breath, talk to your body. We're almost there. Deep, steady breathing. Be aware of the intensity. Be aware of your reaction to the intensity. Notice what is. Good, we'll prepare to move. So I want you to walk very slowly back up, shifting a little weight into your right hip and pick it up to slide it back. And then we'll gently come back to the hands and knees. I want you to just roll a little through the body, kind of just rolling through the hips. You can check it out, finding a little movement. And then we'll prepare to switch the sides. So here's where we take that left one, kind of let it a little slide forward. You can check out now whether you want to keep the knee closed, whether you want to support right underneath that left hip, a block or another pillow. If you want that shin bone to be open, aligning your chest forward. Now we'll prepare to fold. So activating your pelvic floor muscles, move the blocks or the bolsters in, and then exhale, we can come on down. And if it's very, very intense, the pigeon pose, sometimes it can be helpful to just hang out on the elbows for a little bit. until the body kind of gets acclimated and comfortable, until the body kind of does a deep settling. And there will be a moment where whatever tension seems to be present in the body lessens. And then you can allow yourself to just really rest. Close the eyes. Quiet the mind. And then there may be some moments where you feel that it's hard to maintain that state of stillness. Recognize that this is totally normal. The intensity, the emotional intensity, and then keeping the attention on the breath, the feeling of the breath moving in, the feeling of the breath moving out. Allowing the mind and the body to come into that space of harmony. Let the breath be deep and steady, rhythmic. The mind dropping deeper down. Feel the body releasing tension, almost in waves that seem to release and unravel into the earth underneath you. Feel as though with each breath, the energy of the body becomes lighter and lighter, so that whatever is obscuring the path to stillness just falls away, melts away. Allow the intensity to build without reacting. Let there be a deep space of allowing throughout the body, throughout the mind. No matter what thoughts are arising, maintain that calm, quiet space of inner awareness. Just a few more breaths. Enjoy the time. Cherish each breath. We'll slowly prepare to exit. So now let's inhale and just come quietly up onto the elbows if you're not there already. And activating the pelvic floor, let's just roll out of the posture, bending your left knee and then coming back to your hands and knees. Let's just roll through the hips a little bit, a little to the right, maybe 2 times, and 2 times the other way, and just bring everything to a happy, neutral space. And then exhale. Let's lie on the stomach for a moment. You can just rest the head down just for a breath or 2. Wiggling out any tension in the hips, letting the sacrum just kind of settle. Let your sacrum just kind of settle. Good. And then let's perhaps stack the pillows or bring your bolster in. And then let the elbows rest. And we'll stay in Cobra pose for a little bit to release the back, and also as a nice little counter stretch to that long hold in the pigeon pose. So now see if you can find the place where the thigh muscles are releasing and the elbows give just enough support, and the pillows or the bolsters are also well positioned for good support. You could also use some blocks underneath. They're just not as cozy. Sometimes after the pigeon pose, it can take a while for the sacrum to just kind of come back online. So we hold this. Be aware of your spinal axis from the sacrum through the joints of the lower back, through the joints of the middle back and the ribs, the joints of the upper back, the shoulder blades, the ribs, the joints around the neck, and the connection to the head. Keep the breath steady and deep, almost like a lullaby that helps the mind and body relax and open. Try as much as possible to keep the joints of the spine relaxing, releasing. If you can contact your psoas muscle, then encourage the psoas muscle to release, to let go. Just a few more breaths. Good. Let's go for like 3 more breaths. Two more breaths. And the last breath, just slide down, giving a chance to remove those objects. And then gently inhale, upward facing. Exhale, downward facing. Give yourself a moment in downward dog. A nice deep breath in and a nice deep breath out. Let's cross the feet. Now we're going to move into lying down. So you can roll on the spine a little bit down. And then from here, let's move into constructive rest position. So you can place your sacrum on the ground and the hands resting on the torso. Let your body really find that constructive space of rest, a place where the tissues of the body start to rebuild. And if you find yourself drifting off into sleep, that's okay. You can allow yourself to really rest for a few moments. Now gently walk your feet a little bit in together. And let's cross the right knee over the left. Good. Make sure you have the space over to the right side. And then exhale, let's bring both knees over to the right. Good. And just let those both knees over to the right. We won't hold this as long as we held the pigeon pose, and then let's again just bring both knees over to the right. We won't hold this as long as we held the pigeon pose. So just a kind of very gentle and delicate twist. If you feel that you want to drape your left arm out to the side, you can allow that to happen. Notice what you feel, and then really just practice kind of draping the body instead of trying to force the knees to the ground. Really allow the body to do what it wants to do. Give it space and time. Almost there, just a few more breaths. One more long, steady, deep breath in. Long, steady, deep breath out. Good. Inhale back to the center. We'll switch the sides. Now you can cross your left leg over the right. Now that you have that in place, then let's exhale. We'll bring those both knees over to the side. And so remember, when you're doing this, the purpose is not to put the knees on the ground, but to keep your chest kind of really elegantly placed on the ground and prevent the ribs from popping up too much. And then you could drape your right arm out to the side. And again, if you feel you need to reset, or if there's any weird pressure, allow yourself to just find an easy release, a little activation of the pelvic floor if the intensity is very high. Now you may notice that the intensity seems to lessen as you hold the posture longer. That's good. That's the body releasing. Or on the other hand, you may notice that the intensity increases as you hold the posture. That's also good. That's your body finally communicating to your mind the wound, the tightness. Both experiences are equally good, and they may vary from one day to another. So remember, don't be attached. to any one particular experience. Find the path to equanimity, the path to stillness. Just 2 more breaths, a nice long deep breath in, long deep breath out. 1 more long deep breath in, long deep breath out. Good. Inhale, we'll come on back into the center. Exhale, let's return to constructive rest. Now we'll take one last posture before we lie down. And if you're near a wall, you can turn over to the wall. If not, you're welcome you're welcome to just lift the legs. All right? If you are close to the wall, then lift the legs up. If you're not near a wall, then also just lift the legs up and use a little support underneath the pelvis, maybe a bolster or pillow. After a long day, or a lot of sitting in a chair, a lot of standing or walking or waiting around, this position is so beneficial. And by elevating the feet, this gives a chance for the blood and circulation in the body to more easily regulate. Notice your breath. Notice your body. Notice the mind. Be aware of those subtle shifts. Allow the body to move into that healing space where the immune system is functioning optimally. The digestive system is also functioning optimally, where the cells and tissues of the body renew themselves. Just a few more breaths, keeping the mind quiet and calm. Let's go for maybe 5 more breaths so you can really enjoy this space. Four more breaths. 3 more breaths. Two more breaths. prepare for the last breath. Long, steady, deep breath in. Long, steady, deep breath out. Very good. Let's exhale again as you bend the knees and scoot a little away from the wall, rolling the knees down. And then perhaps finding that place to support the knees as you lie down and take rest. Take rest, take rest. Relax the mind. Relax the body. Relax the breath. And let that state of stillness be present. And bring your attention gently back to the breath. Bring your attention into the body, into the mind and the emotions. Notice the subtle shift in the inner planes. A long, deep breath in. As you exhale, let's move fingers, toes, hands and feet, arms and legs, head, the neck, the torso. Can bend the knees. And drawing the knees into your chest with a little squeeze. Roll over onto the side. And then let's find the way back to a comfortable seated position. Settle in for a moment. Feel that connection between breath, body, and mind. Then gently bring your hands together. Long, steady breath in. As you exhale, softly open the eyes. Thank you so much for joining me on this practice. May you be happy, may you be peaceful, may you be filled with love. Namaste.